guys, welcome back to Pepper Geek. Today I'm going to talk all about growing peppers and gardening on a budget. So gardening can definitely be a very expensive hobby. The price of supplies, materials, even seeds really adds up. So I just wanted to go over a couple of tips and tricks for saving money here and there when you're gardening or growing peppers. Before I get started, I just wanted to let you guys know that we finally released our ebook, Growing Perfect Peppers. We have been working on this for over a year, close to 2 years, so we're super excited to share it with you. It's over 130 pages long, it's filled with pepper growing advice and high quality pepper photos, so we'll leave a link in the description below where you can learn more about it. So the first tip that I want to get into is all about starting seeds frugally. So you don't need to spend a ton of money on seed cells and seed trays. You can very easily use leftover plastic, leftover containers, and other items to grow your seeds in. Some people use solo cups or leftover yogurt cups to start their seeds in. This is a leftover food container. This would be completely fine if you poked holes in it. And it might be a small cost up front to buy some good quality seed cells and trays, but you really just don't have to purchase those things. So it may be worth it to you to save a little bit of money and just use some recycled plastic instead. One important thing to remember is you definitely want the material to be solid. You don't want to use a transparent plastic where light is going to get through, so make sure you find something that's opaque. You can also just start your seeds in a bigger container. So we do start our seeds in the smaller cells because we're growing so many peppers, and just for the purpose of saving space, we have to do it that way. But if space isn't really an issue for you, you can very well just start your seeds in the larger container and skip out on buying the smaller seed cells. If you do decide to start your seeds in a larger container and go that route, just make sure that you're keeping only the seed moist for germination and you're not watering the entire pot. This will help with mold and fungus issues. Some people recommend starting your seeds in egg cartons, but we actually don't recommend doing that. They're too shallow, and a better use for them is just to put them in the compost, as long as they're cardboard and not plastic. So speaking of compost, that's actually my next tip for you. Making your own compost, if you have the space for it, can really help you save some money on expensive soil amendments. If you have a good, well-balanced compost, your plants should be getting all the nutrients they need from that. If you don't have the space to make your own compost, be sure to check with your town or city. A lot of towns offer free compost for residents, which is a great resource to have if you're gardening. So the next tip for you is to check in your community for plants, seeds, and supplies. Especially at the end of the season, there's usually no reason to buy anything brand new unless you can't find it secondhand. We ended up getting our wheelbarrow on Craigslist, and it was significantly cheaper than if we purchased it new. It's definitely worth checking out yard sales, Facebook Marketplace, and other groups to see if people are looking to give anything away or sell it cheap. We also found a bunch of clay pots for $1 each, and they're typically pretty expensive new, so we were really happy to give those a new home and repurpose them. So the next tip is to grow heirloom varieties and also save the seeds from your harvest. The cost of seeds can definitely add up, so it's worth saving your seeds from season to season. Heirloom varieties are more stable, and the seeds are meant to be saved from season to season. If you're growing multiple varieties, make sure that you're open to the idea of cross-pollination, because that's definitely a possibility. You can also look into different Facebook groups and Reddit communities for seed swaps. It's a great place to get involved with the community and trade and swap different varieties that you may have not grown yet. So the next tip is to collect rainwater. You may or may not have a water bill, but the way we see it, there's really no reason not to collect rainwater. We have a 50-gallon rain bucket that we use to collect rainwater, and it has a screen on the top to prevent any leaves from falling in, and a nice convenient little spout on the bottom to dispense the water. This is especially useful if you live in an arid climate where it doesn't rain a lot. You can really just make use of the rain that you do get. The next tip for keeping your gardening hobby a little bit more budget-friendly is to forage for materials. You can very easily just use sticks as stakes for your plants. You can use rocks around your garden beds and kind of just find things in nature and use those in your garden instead of just using plastic things or buying things new. The next tip for saving some money is in regards to grow lights. So we do use grow lights and we do recommend them, but we are growing a lot of different pepper varieties and a lot of different plants. The truth is you don't really need a grow light to grow peppers. A window that gets plenty of sun will be perfectly adequate to grow your pepper seedlings. The only thing you'll want to make note of is the seedlings will definitely take a longer time to grow than if you were using a grow light. Therefore, you want to make sure you start earlier to give them enough time to grow. We have friends and family that use a sunny window to grow their peppers, and they come out with great harvests every year. If you don't have a south-facing window that gets adequate sunlight, you should probably look into some budget LED light options. And the last tip is to only grow what you will use. It's not uncommon for people to get overzealous and start planting different pepper varieties and vegetables that they really just don't have a need for. So whenever you're starting seeds, make sure that you do have a need for whatever you're growing and that it won't go to waste. This way, you're really maximizing your garden space while avoiding excessive seed costs and avoiding waste. Don't forget to check out our new ebook, Growing Perfect Peppers. It's all about growing peppers, and we are so excited to finally have launched it. We'll leave the link in the description for you below where you can learn more about it. And thank you so much to everybody that has joined the Patreon community. We have a few shout outs for you today. Thank you so much to Joseph S., Cameron H., Derek N., Andrew Z., Joshua J., Paris M., James F., Nathaniel M., Jillian W., Jessica C., Tyler L., and Jonathan D. Thanks so much for joining, and if you're interested, check out our Patreon in the link below. So that's all for today. If you have any tips or tricks for saving a little bit of money when you're gardening, be sure to leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. You're maximizing your garden space and really taking advantage of everything that the world has to offer.